listening to all your reflection on Palantir, what can you learn from it? Anything, you said you reflect on from applying to the development at Almato?
I would like to continue on this, right? So far we've talked about data reuse.
Yeah.
Then we've talked about insight, where Palantir is super strong and where they've created all these tools. And we at Almato, we have focused more on the third point of this whole data journey, which is automation. We have created our own AI. We have not focused so much on insight tools. We have said, you can connect all the insight tools in the world, like Mathematica and System Modeler and Simulax and blah, blah, and so on. It's exactly what Palantir is doing with their AI platform. They said, we haven't developed our own AI because they're honest and they're good technical people, right? And they said, but we've built a platform where you can plug in all these other AIs. So this is the real difference between Almato and Palantir is both the same data platform type of thing, both data reuse across projects and solutions. Almato own tools for insight, really great tools. Palantir, all tools for insight, really great tools. Almato allows other insight tools to connect, no own insight tools yet. I mean, we've put them on the roadmap and so on, right? And on the other hand, Almato has its own AI, not a large language model, but a reasoning engine, and Palantir can plug in any AI as a deployment platform and so on and so forth. So this is the real difference between the companies. And then you have to also say the ownership and where the stuff is run, right? I'm not a conspiracy theorist, right? And I understand that governments have to act in a certain way, but of course, if key investors are from the intelligence community from a specific country, that means something. And it just means that maybe you're good using both tools.
But isn't that the logical consequence that you have to drive and invest a lot of money probably in marketing, driving that narrative? Because on one hand, you feel you not just like the whole noise, be it generative AI, agentic AI, you don't feel you directly compare, although there's some similarities, but not directly compared to Palantir. So isn't that the logical conclusion? You have to drive almost your own narrative to really drive, almost make people aware of your value proposition?
We definitely have to drive a narrative to get there. And the narrative is actually super simple, right? It is for a developer. It is with this platform, you can write programs that you dreamt about, but you could never actually do because you couldn't process the data. From a business point of view, we say make use of your data chaos and automate everything. And I don't care whether you call it agent or Fido. I don't really. It's maybe we should start calling it dog names, right? It's just a way of saying automate something. Right. The problem I think I've always had, because I'm broadly thinking strategist type of guy, I say okay, this is the platform to automate anything. And this is very hard to sell, right? If you go in with a point solution, it's I have an agent to do your travel bookings. I have an agent to book the perfect hotel for you and what you need right now. That is much easier to sell than when you say I have a platform that allows you to create any agent. And this is something that is very hard for technical people like me. This is why I'm happy we have great marketing people and so on, right? Where they can tell a better story. But what I can tell you technically is that what's behind the system is a platform to deploy any agent, and to deploy any agent means get knowledge from people on how to do something, and then enable the AI to do anything that any person can do sitting in front of a keyboard.
But isn't it pretty much, and we worked on it together, so the same story almost, or at least the same arguments you had in mind for Arago? Are there any learnings given? Don't know how much the market has changed. Do you feel you have to change that narrative, or do you feel it's still your fundamental belief, what you're trying to get across to customers?
The automation narrative is still the same, right? It's all about saving time. It's all about improving business in a most dramatic way. I mean, automating 80-90% of stuff is a dramatic thing. What has changed in what we do dramatically is we now also offer the data platform, not just the automation, the AI, but also the data platform. We allow this data platform to deploy programs towards data, so you can actually do the crawling before the walking, before the running, before using AI for everything. And we have seen that we have a great technology, but we need partners to implement that change. I am doing this for the past 2 years inside Data Group, where Data Group has been just a normal IT provider, a well-run IT provider, and with a Swabian entrepreneurial mindset, right? Is like proliferably. This is a great feeling. But now what we're doing is we're changing that company. We're trying to, like, just the amount of conversations you have to have on the management and on the worker level to get it, say, like, you don't need standardization anymore. You don't need a web shop for people to order stuff. Yeah, but efficiency, and I understand what they're saying, but it's not what people want. People want to have a single problem, single-mindedly. They come to you and say, like, this is my problem, go solve it. They don't want to think about what is your standard solution to this problem, right?
Well, are we back to, again, that's the analyst speaking, because I think, broadly speaking, you have two broad camps. Most of the people think about runbooks, managing that complexity, or RPA linking back largely to legacy technology, getting around technology debt, but nobody has explained what you're trying to do. How do you get across that? Are you feeling that's a job of your partners to drive that?
No.
Or are you back to almost, you have to go the extra mile and explain it even more effectively?
I have stopped explaining technology, except for in talks with you, and going there. I go to universities and hold lectures now, but the whole point is you have to talk much more about the business effect, right? What does automation mean if you don't have to standardize? How much time do you save if you don't have to analyze, standardize, consolidate before you actually harvest the yield of automation? Right? That's massive. Like, most of the capital expenditure of creating software and so on is on these points. Most of building factories is on analyze, standardize, consolidate, and then you build something, right? And then you don't know if it's right. So I think the agent story, I try to formulate this very generally, and Sam Altman tries to formulate. He's talking about general AI and so on, right? And I say it's a platform to automate anything that you have the knowledge for and you can do in front of a keyboard. That's not as boldly said as general AI, but it's basically applying AI in a general way, right? And I think that what we really have to get right, what the agent marketing people get right, is that they say, okay, there is an agent for every category of tasks. Like, there's not an agent for every task. Like, there's no agent to book a hotel at Hilton in Palo Alto or whatever, right? But there is an agent to book hotels, and then there's agent to book cars, and then there's the meta agents which will book flight, car, and hotel together, right? Using the other agents. So the marketing story here is break the big problem of automating everything into single splits, and you can sell everything. I mean, obviously, business-wise, this is much smarter than what I've been doing, right? Trying to say, like, here's the platform, automate everything. They charge you for the hotel booking agent, the car booking agent, the blah, blah booking agent, and then they charge you for the platform that brings them all together. So the technology hasn't changed. I think the marketing is smarter, not just in making money-wise, but also much more understandable.
What's holding Almato back to be more successful? What's holding the broader market back to adopt all those things you talked about in a much more broader sense?
Look, the AI team came to Almato 2 years ago. And that time we have used to start and automate Data Group. This is why we came there, and now we are in the process of entering the market and actually offering the data platform, which we never did before, and the AI to the market with all the learnings we had in Data Group. I don't think it's a time yet to measure success. If I want to make the startup pitch, which fortunately we're not, right, is I would say, look, we have tried and validate, is this data platform actually sellable? Yeah. I said, no, it's not sellable. Like I said, everybody who's interested in semantics has done it. But then we went to 10 customers, and out of 10 customers, 8 wanted it, right? So we said, okay, this is obviously something we need to do, right? Yeah. And with the AI introduction to companies, I would say that we can do the convincing that this is possible because we now have the real data from a real environment. And this is great why we have Data Group as customer number 1 to this. and we're allowed to publish it and talk about it, and data group will talk about it because obviously it's great for them, and so on. And now we can take it from there. But we understand now, which I never understood before. I said, like, if you can find something that triples your business, why the hell don't you do it? Right. This change management thing was out of me. Now I see the change management is necessary. And the change management, in large part, can be done by strategic or small partners, like strategic partners who really make strategy for big companies like McKinsey and so on, right? But small partners who actually understand a company and how they work, and they can maybe take the company by the hand and say, like, okay, let's walk through the tunnel and come out in AI age, right? And not be cancelled by OpenAI or Google.
What's the feedback from those partners on those early deployments? What are lessons learned from their point of view from those early deployments?
So our primary users are developers in the system. But what we sell to the market has to be solution, right? So for a partner to think along the lines of what's a solution that will actually allow to automate anything and not need standardization, that's a big step for rethinking in the partner. Also, if you have a platform that has the same performance if you query a single data point or 10 million data points, that is very different from querying an SQL database, right? That's very difficult to stomach for developers. So what we have been focusing on is, besides a lot of LLM integration, integrate MCP as an agent-based protocol and so on, so that we become more accessible from the outside world, we have focused on making it much easier for developers, self-service, create your own instance, and so on. And we have focused on building more solutions, like visualizations. Make it tangible. What is your consumption on the platform? What is your business benefit on the platform? How many, whatever, trees have you classified? How many chicken have you fed? And stuff like that, right? How many tickets have you automated? And I think this is very important. And then you go one step further. It's like, how did you make these decisions? What data was involved using it? How many petabytes of data did you read in order to come up with this? Right?
Any surprising results coming out which your partner didn't expect?
All these AI results are surprising, right? Because you're thinking of this in a very linear way, and in truth, it's kind of an oscillation that goes up. So all of this is surprising, that I must say. One of the most fun projects was where we said we would do image recognition with 10 to the power of 6 magnitude too few images, classified images, right? And from a just machine learning point of view, you say, like, that's not possible. But combining machine learning and image processing together with semantics all of a sudden makes it possible. Those are type of cool projects where you say, like, oh, this can't work, and people have tried this for years, and then you just do it. It's really funny in our teams, right? You have people who really are interested in doing these totally new things and failing and beating their heads against the wall and then coming up with success and then being very like, okay, can we write a paper on this? Can I have my name on it, right? And then the other type of people say, like, oh no, this is new. The first idea I had didn't work. I don't want to go on, and so like you also see difference in type of developers that you see there that I've never noticed before, right? It's very interesting.